And a river in the background, the mountains, farm country. Doesn't get much better than this. So this feed mill was just built last year and became operational in October. They're getting close to the year mark. Primarily a hog integrator, and we're gonna go this way here. We're at the top of the feed mill right now. Shortly you'll be able to see where our grain storage expansion is gonna be. This customer has a loop track here on their property, so they're able to bring in a unit train. One of our mutual connections in the ag industry, a client of ours, introduced us to Country View Family Farms, and they mentioned that Country View at the time was looking to do a rather large grain storage expansion. At the time, we really knew none of the particular details, but they provided some contact information for one of the individuals at CVFF, and we reached out and kind of made the introduction.
We didn't know what the scope was going to be. We knew it was a grain storage project. We knew that Country View had been asking around to a lot of the folks in the industry about grain bins, and so we figured something like that was going to happen in the state at some point.
They were a couple weeks away from making a decision on building this grain system. We kind of were coming in on the tail end of the process, and they said, if you guys can work fast and want to give it a shot, we'll entertain a bid from you guys.
We kind of said, oh, okay, wait a minute, these guys are coming late to the game. And he said, hey, we'll get you a proposal in this timeline. It was a very, very short timeline. And they delivered on that proposal, and it was actually better than what we expected.
The three of us, Colleen and myself, we didn't have to think anymore. We knew that, right here in the heart of Pennsylvania, this is a project that our team could execute better than anybody. We went to the existing feed mill location. We flew our drone. We captured the as-built. We started to analyze what size, grain storage we could get on this site, how we would integrate all of the other aspects of the project that were required to meet their goals, simultaneously building scopes of work out for all of our trade partners.
So we kind of laid down all the different proposals together, all the different presentations. 4 or 5 of us individually scored them, and between the builder of this current facility and Groff Julius, they came in very closely together, and we thought we'd just give Groff Julius a try on this one.
They quickly realized that they could lean on our team to be, really efficient, really quick to respond. They ultimately saw us as a real partner, I think, even through the capital planning process to help get their final approvals. And at the end of the day, they awarded the project to Groff Julius, and we were thrilled about that. Here we can really see the entire grain storage bin foundation. It'll be a corrugated steel grain bin. Right now we're standing on top of concrete slip form silos. This will be a steel corrugated bin. So again, right now we're pouring the wall. The two centers there, D-shaped walls, will then get backfilled in the middle with stone up to the grade of our aeration tunnels. We'll pour those aeration tunnels and then pour a solid cap across the entire top of that grain storage bin. Sukup Manufacturing has been our preferred partner on this particular product. They make the largest grain storage bins in the country, and so we're a proud partner of Sukup, and looking forward to building their bin here on this site. This customer is making feed, 24/6 right now, and so really important that we're not causing, additional downtime in their day-to-day operations that would cause challenges. And so we've worked really closely with their team, their logistics team, to make sure that everything can flow smoothly and safely.
Our father, Galen Julius, is the site superintendent on the project. He's leading the execution side. We feel like everything we've learned about this industry and everything we've learned about the equipment and engineering and design and how to put a project together, we really owe to him and what he's done to teach us from little on up, even as far as just hanging out on the farm and doing cool things on the farm, but also then inviting us into the industry. And it's just been a really cool aspect for our relationships to get to tackle something like this together on the project.
This is Galen Julius, our site superintendent.
This is my home for a while. 47 years doing this type of work. Started right out of college, and most of the grain and feed construction since that. So My main objective here is to make sure the subcontractors know what they're doing and have what they need to do it. Today we had a large concrete pour here, just make sure everything's ready to go, and the subcontractors are doing a great job here. But sometimes they have some questions, and I'm here for them. It's going to be the largest grain bin in Pennsylvania.
For us, a project like this was never about building the largest grain bin in Pennsylvania. It was about building the right grain bin for the customer. And when we realized, as we worked through the design process, that this bin was going to be pretty sizable. And we got to the end of the design, we got to the end of the bidding process, we looked at each other and we said, I think this could be the biggest grain bin in the state.
The biggest thing that drove that was customer decision to be able to maintain future growth and maximize what they can do today in one grain bin, but also leave room for that second bin in the future.
I'm always suspicious of that. So I never like to say we're the best, we're the biggest, or anything like that. It is a very large grain bin, and they've done their research, and it is, to their best knowledge, it is the largest bin. It does feel pretty good to have to do something like that. So.
This is the base for the support tower in the middle of the structure to hold up the conveyor that goes to the big bin. So this solid concrete base, which is probably over 200 yards of concrete, holds the tower from tipping over due to wind load and other factors. The structure you see there now is a template so that when we pour the concrete, there's anchor bolts in the exact location, and when we put the steel on it, they'll fit right on, and we can start stacking tower without any adjustments to the anchor bolts. Now this tunnel is where the discharge conveyor from the grain bin will be in. You'll be able to walk through beside that. 15 outlets in the grain bin down through the concrete that can drop product into the conveyor and return it to the plant. That tunnel is all pre-designed. The next thing they'll do is put the cap on the tunnel and have the sumps in it, the embeds in the concrete, where the product will come down into the conveyor.
Up until the pour today, the biggest push was to get the footer poured, which was 560 cubic yards of concrete, and we poured that at 2 in the morning on a rainy day. A huge accomplishment for that was it was 4,000 PSI concrete, and our 7-day cylinder break test came back at the minimum was 4,200 pounds and the highest was 5,400 pounds. So that's unheard of in 7 days to be up to your 30-day requirement.
On a project of this magnitude, we're talking about the largest grain bin in Pennsylvania. All of the grain inside of that tank is going to be pressing down on the soil, on the ground, on its concrete foundations, and that load on the soil needs to be managed correctly. So our first step was to get a geotechnical engineer on site to check the soil itself and understand what we had to do to interact with the soil appropriately to support the weight of the bin. That led to a design of the concrete foundation, and when we were ready to break ground, we knew exactly what we wanted to do with the concrete foundation. The footer for this bin is over 38 inches thick and provides a rigid foundation for this tank to press on. Getting that grain bin foundation in first was a huge deal for us as we looked at the schedule of the project and recognized that getting the bin up and assembled needed to happen by the beginning of July. So we had to get the foundation in place so that the bin erection crew would be able to start on time and allow us to have that bin assembled and anchored back down by the beginning of July to allow for all of the remaining millwright and electrical work to continue and meet our deadlines.
We've talked about a feed mill at Country View for the whole time I've been here. I've been with Country View 20 years. We've talked about a feed mill, controlling our own feed. It feels really good to control our own destiny in Pennsylvania. We were getting feed from a half a dozen different mills at one time, and that would be different quality here, different quality there. Now we can control our own destiny, making the feed that we want for our animals here in central Pennsylvania. So that feels really good. We can control our ingredient purchases. We know what all our costs are. Just this facility, we created over 50 jobs. These were non-existent jobs before that. When we brought the first unit train in I think it was in the fall last year, to bring the first unit train in, that was the longest train from what they told me, that came up this rail line since 1970s. It also gives the local farmers another outlet to market their grain. It provides railroad jobs, and then maintenance that comes along with all those. I mean, so it's an economic driver that's helping fuel ag industry in Pennsylvania.
The great thing about our process is that with the drone model that we have, we're able to document the site conditions perfectly from the very beginning. So it's not like we have to keep going back and getting more measurements and more ideas of what's there. We're able to design it and figure it out fully ahead of time. So it doesn't matter if the project is right down the street and I can walk to it, or whether it's 20 hours away, I can get the same amount of information and be just as dangerous in the office working on the design, making sure that all the details are figured out with the confidence that it's going to work in the field. As we zoom in here, you can see some of those details that we're building into the model. You can see all of the transitions, all the spouting, the dead boxes. All of those are pre-thought out pieces that we are utilizing on the project. You can see for example, this transition in the back here is one that we're going to get built, and it's its own separate component that we can send to a fabricator that will build that piece exactly and have that ready to go and install on site.
This is the catwalk that they're putting together, doing some pre-assembly work. It'll be pre-assembled in two main sections to be able to move over closer to the behind the mill, and then we'll bolt that together and it'll all fly up in one piece.
It's designed to free span like 90 feet with a 30,000 bushel an hour conveyor on it, so it needs to be beefy to make sure that's all rigid out across from the tower to the top of the bin. Our team just finished up a packet of all of the custom transitions to tie everything together. So all of the spouting, and then every transition to connect the different flow pieces. So to connect from a turn head to a drag conveyor, or from a drag conveyor into the peak of the bin, or between conveyors. We custom designed every one of those transitions, and we'll get those pre-built. They'll be welded together, galvanized, lined with a urethane liner, and then when we put those together, there's some loose flanges to make sure everything fits up, but just makes assembly go that much faster.
I feel really good about where we're at here at the end of June. Again, we've got a lot of our main structures going together. All of our foundations are complete, which is certainly a huge milestone. The structures that need to be built are certainly a real big thing to cross off the list, and then we'll start installing material handling equipment, and then things kind of slow down a little bit in the sense that all of the final transitions and egress items, those are the things that you don't see big things happening, right? Big grain bin gets built or big tower gets built, you see progress quickly, right? But when you have a lot of fabricated items to go into place, and custom items and spouting, that's the stuff that takes time to get right, to get the egress right, and so that's what will be happening here in July and August. But overall, we feel really good about how things are progressing.
We knew that this project was going to take a ton of energy, and we put the right team together for the Groff Julius side to make sure that we could manage a project well on a site like this. So it's been awesome to watch our team be able to take leadership and take a hold of the challenges that come up throughout the day, and take a hold of making sure that things are organized well, and to execute on the project and really give us a good finished product. So I think maybe one of my favorite parts has just been recognizing that it was going to be a tight time frame project. It was going to take a lot of focus, and then watching our team rise to that challenge and continue every day to push and make this project a really successful reality for the customer.
So we're in the big grain bin now. It holds 817,000 bushels. And when you empty a grain bin like this, you need to draw it from the center of the bin for the flow characteristics of the grain, not to put extra stresses on the sidewall. So this big sweep auger here in the bin, it's a sweep drag conveyor, and it's the mechanism that once the grain won't flow out of the center, that it goes around the bin. It's powered by 2 push tractors, and it goes around the bin and cleans the grain up and brings it into the center hole. And it's designed to handle the flow rates and the capacity of this structure. I'm standing now on perforated steel, and the fans will push the air in through this and up through the perforations and aerate the corn as it's in here during storage to keep the temperature and moisture controlled. Moisture's pretty well controlled coming in, but the temperature can vary greatly from the different seasons and the temperature of the grain coming in, so it's important to have aeration. And up at the top we have all the vents to let the air out after it's been pushed up through the grain. And we have some power exhausters up there to control the headspace temperature above the grain. And on the floor here we have extra sump outlets to feed the drag conveyor in the tunnel underneath. That'll get the grain out before you'd start the sweep drag conveyor.
It's been about 2 weeks since I've been up here to the White Deer project. We're absolutely stoked at the progress. You can see here as we pull in the bin off in the distance there, but the last time I was here was about 2 weeks ago, and we were halfway through the bin installation on the 105-foot grain storage bin, and things are looking really, really good. I'm pleased to see how the grain storage bins have come together. Again, the 105 and this wet storage tank here off to the right, looking really, really sharp. You can see the grain dryer being built in the background. Towers are all looking really good.
You know, you spend so much time on a project that it's a little breathtaking when you get there and you have the finished project. I'll be excited to get to site once it's completed. That's something that, you know, I feel like I'll need to do. I'll need to be able to see that and know that it's been built and see all the details and be able to look at the transitions that, you know, most people are just going to look at and say, hey, they put a transition there, but I'm going to know that we spent hours thinking about making sure that the grain flows and doesn't wear out the corners, and that we have all of those points figured out. And it's a proud moment to be able to walk through that and feel that firsthand after walking through it on the model for so long.
Growing up on a farm, spending my entire career in the agricultural industry, it's a really cool feeling to have the opportunity to build not only just a really large grain storage facility. It's certainly exciting to be able to build the biggest grain storage bin in Pennsylvania, but do it in a way that what we feel is really impactful to the region, to the state, and to a growing and new relationship, Country View Family Farm.
I love what we're doing here at Groff Julius. I feel like we're making a big difference in not just the local area, but expanding out into the larger markets areas as well. And we're making a difference in agriculture, and it makes me proud to be part of that.
I've walked through this area thousands of times on the computer screen. I knew what it was going to look like, but being able to stand here and walk down the catwalk and see the 30,000 bushel an hour drag conveyors and see all the large spout work come together, it's a great feeling to know that it worked and everything came together.
We're starting equipment up, practicing calibrating, loading out trucks. We were running equipment yesterday. The whole process this summer, since the last time we were together, has went very, very smoothly. We're finishing up on the schedule that Groff Julius committed to.
Our goal when we set out wasn't necessarily to build the largest grain bin in Pennsylvania. We heard what the customer was needing in order to meet the needs of their facility, to meet the needs of their hog production side, to meet the needs of the local farmers, to provide a place to bring wet corn and have a place that can dry and receive that corn at harvest. We were able to support the customer, but then also as I look at my team, we had a lot of players really step up to the plate on our team, guys from the engineering side through project management, the team that was on site every single day, making sure that everything was assembled correctly, our subcontractors. So for me, I think I'm the most excited about the aspect of the community of the group of people that really pulled together to execute on this project and make it happen.
Ag is the largest industry in Pennsylvania by far, and being part of that has always been exciting for me. Just being able to buy corn from farmers, giving them another outlet to bring their product to market. Pennsylvania has more younger farmers than any other state in the union. Just being able to see that is really exciting, and hopefully we set this up. Didn't build this for my generation, we built this for the next generations, and that's what's really exciting about being part of Clemens.